Hey, how's it going? Welcome to Garden Fork Radio. It's Eclectic DIY. I am your host, Eric. I have this DIY podcast. I also have a YouTube channel, also called Garden Fork. Today, it's a solo show with me. I want to talk about two things and then maybe some tangents, of course. First, my experience using the Noom app is kind of gone south, I'll just say. And then a very positive experience. I bought a car from Enterprise Car Rental, of all places. So let me start out by saying this is my opinion on my experience with Noom. In this world of people being very lawsuit and libel oriented, I don't have a corporate lawyer like corporations do. So this is my opinion, and your opinion may be different. Your experience may be different. I think if you listen to the show, I've been big on going through my costs, my monthly charges, and reducing stuff that I don't use anymore. One of them was the Adobe software. I realized that I could use the DaVinci Studio. I could buy it once and use it forever. Also, the Pixelmator is a Photoshop equivalent piece of software, and I don't have to pay for it every month. And, stuff like that. So this fall, I got an email, as an email or a text from Verizon, who is our cell phone and internet provider here. And we have a nice, it's quite a bit of savings, but if you do it together, bundle it, it's called, or something. And it said essentially, hey, we looked at your plan and you might be able to save a couple bucks with some suggestions we have. Log into your account and take a look. I'm like, oh, okay. So I logged in and right on your landing page, it's like, save here or something like that. And I looked at it and we could save some, like $5 or $10, but it would be cutting something that we actually use. I don't remember what it was. I'm sorry I'm vague about this, but the point here is then a day or two later, I got my invoice from Noom, and I was on a 3-month plan every 3 months. And it's quite expensive. It's $50 and change a month. And I thought, I've been doing it for 3.5 years. And I'm like, that is expensive. But I've always thought, I'm losing weight. It's a good tool. I'm helping the company stay in business, So then I'm like, well, I wonder if there's something else besides Noom. Because I was kind of starting to taper off on my use of Noom. It's kind of I guess you just kind of get used to it. I was looking for something new, basically. So, of course, I typed into the Google weight loss app reviews, and an article from Forbes.com came up. And it talked about, Noom and some of the other apps, and it said that Noom was $17 a month. And I'm like, what's that, So I went to the Noom site, and it's actually hard to find their price page. And I just Googled Noom cost page or something like that. And they do have a page for it. And it lists their yearly plan is about, I think it's $210 for the year, which makes it $17 a month. And I've been paying $50 plus a month, which is $600 a year. And maybe I was a little naive and thinking, it's 3 months. But when I first signed up, I do not remember being offered a year. I'm pretty sure it was like start for 3 months and see if you like it. And Noom never came back to me and said, hey, we have a year plan. We've noticed you've been on here for more than the 3 months. We have a yearly plan that you could switch to. I mean, Verizon did that, essentially. And Noom hasn't. And I'm like, all right, I don't really like this. So I went on the Noom support. So I started in January. I thought about this for a while. Then in January, I went to the Noom customer support. You type in your email and you get a response back. And I think first I was perhaps talking to some sort of AI bot, and I got kicked up to a couple of different people. And I laid out basically what I'm telling you here. I've a longtime customer. I've told a ton of people about your app and how much I like it. And then all of a sudden I find out I'm being overcharged, and you never thought to say, hey, Eric, I mean, you could have done this it could have been done on a global scale, on the corporate scale. Find everyone that's on the 3-month plan, tell them, hey, we have the year plan, and then retain a customer who is happy. When I was a contractor, one of the old school guys told me, a happy customer might tell 2 or 3 people you did a good job. An unhappy customer will tell 10. So I feel obligated to tell you about the unhappy part of it because I've been telling you so much about how much I like it. So I went through this email chain, which took quite a while, it seemed, because I think my email got lost in the mix, and I was like, hey, just following up on this. And then I just got one that was very blunt and said, we're not doing this for you. I lost the blunt email. I think I was so upset by it that I deleted it maybe. And I wish I had that, but I don't have it now. So that really bothered me. And what I've learned is a written letter gets results. And being polite about it, being upfront, and laying out what steps you're going to take if you can't come to a satisfactory resolution also works really well. So I wrote the president of the company, and I laid out essentially what I'm telling you. And I had I stapled to it all the customer support emails, which explains in detail my experience. And it totals about $1,200 I overpaid. I feel I overpaid, and requesting a refund of that. And I said, if I don't hear back from you, and I sent it express mail, I think I said signature required, but they track it. You can show that it. Anyway, and I didn't hear anything back. I checked my emails. I checked my spam. I didn't see anything. And I said, if I don't hear back from you in 2 weeks, the first steps I'm going to take are talk about this on my podcast and send this information with a letter to the New York State Attorney General, Letitia James. And your New York State Attorney General's office is great for if you have a problem with the company. You could also go to like your local, local news channels have that customer advocate thing. I didn't want to go that route because I didn't really want to be on the local news complaining about a weight loss app. And then I said, if I don't hear back from you for another 2 weeks, I'm going to walk around the corner and go tell my neighbor about this. My neighbor is Chuck Schumer, the Senate Minority Leader. He lives around the corner from me, and I do see him in the neighborhood. Hey, Chuck. Hey, how you doing? And I was like, okay, I'm going to go talk to him about this. I haven't yet because I'm doing the podcast first. Then I said, if I don't hear back in another 2 weeks, I'm going to go to my credit card company and try and get the refund through the credit card company. So I laid this all out in a letter, and I sent it off with the information, and I haven't heard back. So I just wanted to let you know that's my experience. I've actually found this method of approaching the company you're dealing with or a person and laying out the steps you're going to take if you don't find resolution has worked for me fairly well in the past. So I'll keep you updated. I'm actually talked to Gemini AI, which is Google, and I asked it to. AI works really well if you craft a paragraph of what you really want. And I said, I want a review of weight loss apps that use cognitive behavior, have a positive attitude, have some good reviews. And I kind of, elaborated on it. And I got back this really good summary of like 10 of them maybe, with this little chart of the name of each app and the pros and cons of it. And I haven't decided which one to go with. But so I'm canceling my Noom subscription, by the way. I kept it open, hoping that they would, refund my money to have my card on file, but I haven't heard from them. So yeah, that was kind of cool. So if you are looking for an app that does a specific thing, Google Gemini did a really good job. I was very happy with that. So yeah. Hey, real quick, if you're looking for something you can do to help other people, something that's really easy is to donate blood. Yep, it's Eric asking you to consider donating blood again. redcrossblood.org. You can also check if your local hospital might have its own donor program. I don't like needles at all, but I do this, and it doesn't take much time. You should hydrate, drink a bunch of water the days before you're doing this, and I take a bottle of Gatorade with me. They have juice and snacks and stuff, but I find that the bottle of Gatorade helps greatly. redcrossblood.org or check with your local hospital, right? Thank you. On the plus side of things, I don't know if you watch my videos. I've made a couple of videos about the mice that get into my Subaru Forester. My favorite little red Subaru Forester that I really love. It's a 2007. It's small, it's tough. I got really good tires on it. My friends live down this muddy dirt road that you got to go up and down hills. It goes right there. But it's been it's starting to fail. I've been getting, my neighbor mechanic works on it for me, and he's great. And he said, it's starting to look a little crusty underneath. And my mechanic in Brooklyn that I take it to for the inspections literally said the same thing. And I'm like, okay. And the timing belt needs to be replaced. At 100,000 miles, you're supposed to replace older Subaru Forester timing belts. It needed the air conditioning hoses were leaking. It needs some control arms, which hold the bottom of the wheels on, I think. And it got to the point where it was going to get quite expensive to fix. And the idea of the Subaru is, we have an electric car, which I love, but we want a reliable, what we call the backup car. And it's also so I can drive around. If the camera operator is at the barn, if I want to go down to the hardware store or whatever. So we decided, instead of putting more money into the Subi, that maybe we should look at, buying something newer. And then I called my friend who sells used cars in the Midwest, who I've known since high school. And I was like, should I buy like an 8-year-old car that needs some work? And I'm getting a little older now, and I'm kind of burning out on crawling around on a garage floor. And I talked to him, and I said, I think, what about an off-lease car? And that's what I think. Those used car lots that you go by, they're not like the Dodge dealer, but they have really nice cars, and they're reputable. And I actually bought my sister a Toyota RAV4 from my friend at the car dealership. And it's a great car. It runs and runs and runs. And he said to me, he goes, go buy your car from Enterprise Rent-A-Car. And I'm like, what? He goes, our car lot? I said, yeah. He goes, a lot of the cars on our lot, we buy from Enterprise Car Rental. And they buy them in bulk, so they get a discount on them. So I went to Enterprise, and there's a section called Enterprise Car Sales. And it's like buying anything else except their cars online. They've got like 10 different pictures of each car. They're about usually 1.5 to 2 years old. Most of them have low miles. A couple of them have maybe 10,000 miles. And it's a fixed price. It's this much. It has a Carfax. You don't even have to pay to get a Carfax on it. They have a Carfax there. They show where the car has been. And I looked, some of the cars are like they were in Texas and Illinois, then they ended up in New York. And I figured those were cars that were driven one way and then they dropped them off. And I'm thinking, a rental car is rented by usually business people that land at an airport. They got to drive to an office and a hotel, and they got to drive back. It might be rented to someone that their car is wrecked and they need a car for a month or something. But I think they're not rented to younger people who want to bomb around and beat up a car. Plus also, they're so well maintained because they're rental cars. They have to be in great shape for their customers. And they must have some sort of an economic break point, monetary break point, where it's time to sell the car and get a new one. But they had these great cars. So there was one I really liked, and I emailed them. You can actually start the buying process on the website. They're closed on Sundays, by the way. I learned that. And so I talked to them on a Monday. I went up there. I didn't bring a check. I just wanted to go look at it. And I talked to Joe at the Enterprise Car Sales in Elmhurst, which is actually LaGuardia Airport. It's right across from the airport. I don't have Joe. Where's Joe? Joe Piper. Yeah, he's really good at the LaGuardia one. And we looked at the car. I looked at, the lot was full of really great cars. I drove it around, and the gut feeling was, this is the way to go. And I'm like, okay, I didn't bring a bank check or a check with me. And he said, what's your bank? And I told him the bank, and he goes, oh, there's one around the corner. I was like, well, let's just drive over there and see if they'll give me a bank check. Because I had my driver's license with me and my debit card, so I thought. And I bought a car. And I'm really happy with it. It's not as much, it's more money than we wanted to spend, but now I have a car that I don't have to fix. And it's very reliable. In the depths of winter, the battery range on the battery efficiency of the Volkswagen, it's just colder, so the battery doesn't work nearly well. So we could use it to drive back and forth and keep the Volkswagen up at the house. And then in the 3 seasons, we could use an electric car. Or if we want to, like I have some relatives in Pennsylvania where there are no car chargers. So I've always driven my Subaru out there. And I've always been like, is it going to break down in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania? And now I have a car where I can go visit my relatives and not have to worry about whether it breaks down or not, because it's just rock solid. It's a Nissan Rogue. And I don't know, it was just a great experience. I looked at, there's some online places you can buy cars. They have storefronts and websites to buy them on. And this was, they wanted to sell you the, the maintenance contract. And I was like, and the other thing that sold me on the Nissan Rogue is a good friend of mine has one, and I called him, and I was like, how do you like your car? He says, Eric, I have 125,000 miles on my car. I've only replaced the brakes and the tires. I'm like, okay, I'm sold. I was interested in like a Toyota RAV4. I don't really like the new Subarus. I needed an all-wheel drive car because up in New England, it really helps to have that. And the Nissan Rogue is an all-wheel drive. And my buddy who has one lives up in New England. And the RAV is $10,000 more. They do sell Toyotas at the Enterprise Car Sales site. They don't sell nearly as much. They have mainly Nissan Rogues in the kind of car I was looking for. So to me, that sounds like at a certain price point, this is a really great car for them and for me. So I was just really happy about that, and I just wanted to share that with you. If you live near an airport, there's probably an Enterprise car rental, and you may or may not be able to buy cars there. What I also liked about the site and the company, if there's some car you really love, and it's at the Enterprise Car Sales in, let's say, Pennsylvania, and you're in New York, you have to pay them to do it. But if you really want to buy it, you can start the purchase process, and they'll ship it 3 states over for you. I'm not sure what the rules are. Do you have to actually buy it and pay for the shipping? I'm not too sure about that part. But yeah, what do you think about that? That was pretty cool. I have some notes here. What am I supposed to talk about? Oh, so then Joe gave me the key fob to the car, and I said, is there a second key fob? And he said, no, because we buy them in bulk from Nissan, and we're primarily a rental company. We don't get the second key fob. And I'm like, okay, I guess in a way it'd be difficult to keep track of a second key fob if the car is driven, 1,000 miles away to the next, Enterprise rental drop-off or something like that. So he said, oh, call this one company and they'll drive to your house and clone the key fob and give you a duplicate key fob. I'm like, okay. I know the dealership charges a lot of money for this. I'm guessing $500-$600, plus you have to go there. So I called the company he suggested, They sounded a little weird on the phone. They weren't too excited about coming to Brooklyn because they're in Long Island. So I just used this thing called the internet, and I typed in key fob programming Brooklyn, and up comes this company called, I don't have it in front of me. Hold on. Here it is. It's called Citywide Auto Locksmith. So this is in New York City. They also work in Long Island, 917-984-3404. They work in the city and I think Eastern Long Island, but you could call them. It's a family-run operation, and it's dad and I think at least two of his sons. I don't know about the rest of the family. They have a ton of great Google reviews. Yelp reviews, I'm not real trusting of. I wonder if, those bots, I don't know. I don't know much about Yelp. But Google reviews, you have to have a Google account to leave a Google review. And I've left reviews there for the guy that cut down my tree, the guy that put in our mini splits, and I left these guys one. So they come. It's the two sons come. I don't know, they're maybe 25, 27 years old. The most chill dudes you've ever met. They have a little van. The van's double parked on the block. And they have this, it looks like a very expensive laptop system. And they have to get underneath up underneath the steering wheel area there, and they plug in some stuff. And they provide the duplicate key fob, and they're like, yeah, this will be about 45 minutes. I'm like, okay, well, I'll go in. And I think it was 15 or 20 minutes later, they called me and said, okay, we're done. And that was it. And it was $350. The price may change depending on where you live and the kind of key fob. But for someone to come to your house instead of having to go to the dealership, drop off the car, or wait 4 hours or whatever, yeah, that was really cool. So there you go. An unfortunate experience with the Noom. Again, I like the app. I just don't like how I was treated. And enterprise car sales, if you're looking for a off-lease car, because keep in mind, like, I bought the Volkswagen new, and as soon as I drove it off the lot, I think a third of the price went away. It was worth a third of 66% basically of what I just paid for it. I could be, but you know what I mean. So if you buy a slightly used car, I don't think the depreciation is nearly as dramatic. And I don't know, I'm just really happy about that. And I'm happy about the Josh and Tobin from Citywide Auto Locksmith. There might be someone like this in your town as well. Go check the Google reviews. And it was just so nice. I was like so happy. It was just, they showed up. They were friendly. I sound like a testimonial here. All right. We'll be back next week, or maybe this week, with some more cool stuff. Yeah. So thanks a lot. Make it a great day. I'll see you. Garden Fork Radio is produced by Garden Fork Media LLC in Brooklyn, New York. The music in the show is licensed from audioblocks.com and uniquetracks.com.